So if we click on the Materials tab, you can see that there is a material description box at the top of the table. It has a drop-down option. This list contains material that we think are the most commonly used in conveyor design. If you find that the material you want is not available, you can always click the first combo box and type in the material description manually. So for this example, we are going to use gravel bank run. When we select it, Belt Analyst will update the material density to 100 and the surcharge angle to 19. These values, along with a given load of 800 tons per hour, will define the cross-sectional area of the material on the idlers, as shown on the right. Now that we have selected our material, we will move to the geometry of the conveyor. When we click on the Flights tab, you will see the default flights from the template that we loaded earlier, which was a horizontal conveyor with a head drive and a head take-up. Here is where you would input your existing geometry of your conveyor. For our example, we will say that there is 200 feet of flat conveyor followed by 400 feet of conveyor at a 6-degree vertical lift, then 200 more feet of flat conveyor. So to do this, click the first box under the horizontal length and enter 200. You can then either enter 0 for the lift or for the angle. One will be calculated off of the other. In the next flight, we will enter 200 with an angle of 6 degrees. We will do the same for the next flight. And lastly, we will enter in 200 and 0 for the angle. If you need more or fewer flights than what was given in the template, you can click a location and click either Insert Flight or Delete, respectively. Say that you need a 5th carry flight. You would click the first column next to the section 5, then click Insert Flight. To delete, you would click the flight you want removed and click Delete. You will notice that for every carry flight, there is a matching return flight. This will be the case when the Flights tab is in Standard mode and Auto Return mode. If you look at the drawing, you will see that the take-up pulley, or the blue pulley, is at the head. For this example, we are going to put the take-up pulley at the tail. To do this, click the take-up pulley and click Move. Click the location you want to move the pulley to, which in our case is the tail pulley. Once I move the take-up pulley, the tail and take-up will combine and location 12 should read tail/TU. Typically, you will not have two bend pulleys next to each other without a segment of belt in between them. In our example, we only need one bend pulley after the head, so we can go ahead and delete one of them. When you click Delete, Belt Analyst will ask if you are sure you want to delete the pulley. Click Yes. So we have our head pulley, which is our drive pulley, and our bend pulley, which in this case will act as a snub pulley. We can add labels to the pulleys by clicking in the label column next to the pulley and typing SNUB. A couple things to look at while on the Flights tab are the idler spacing and the percent load. The default in this case has the idler spacing set to 4 feet for the carry side and 12 feet for the return flights. I can change each flight's idler spacing individually. For example, the first 200 feet might have a spacing of 5 feet, while the others have 4 feet. Or I can change all of them at once, as shown in the previous videos. For our example, we will set the idler spacing to 5 feet for all carry flights and 10 feet for all return flights. In the percent loaded column, you have 100% load for each of the carry flights. If there is a section of conveyor that is not going to have material on it, you can enter 0 for the percent loaded. This will show that the material starts on the incline up until the end. Another thing to notice is that the Flights tab has a scroll bar at the bottom. You can use this to scroll to the end of the table, or you can click Expand Folder or the hotkey F8. There are columns to add skirting, cleaners, or plows to each flight. There is also a column for extra drag. This is where you would add any extra weight or drag that is seen by the conveyor. For this case, we will say there is 15 feet of skirting at the beginning of the conveyor. We will add 1 cleaner at the head and 2 cleaners after the snub pulley. We also have 1 plow right before the tail. You can click the Contract Folder button to get back to the normal view. The geometry is now set up and we can move to the Belt tab.